Hey everybody, it's Maisha Majors, and I'm here today joined with Roy Williamson. And this is Black Voices in Real Estate. What we are here to do, as always, is talk about what's going right, what's going wrong, and what are our experiences as Black real estate professionals in this business. So I wanted to welcome Roy. Thank you for coming and joining the show today.
Thank you for having me on.
So, first and foremost, what got you started in real estate? What were you doing before? What made you decide, like, this is the thing that I want to jump into?
Well, I'm currently in law enforcement, and I'm making a transition to go full time real estate. I tried to do a part time before. I let my license expire. It didn't work. It was kind of hard, really, being having such a demanding career, then trying to go into another demanding career, entrepreneurship. I
Right.
had a close friend who left the job early several years ago. He had a real estate license. He had a couple properties, Airbnbs, when they first kind of came out. And I remember one day he was my close friend. He said, "Hey man, I'm leaving the job," and it was a shock to me. I'm like, "You leaving? Like this is what we do. It's like a warrior
Yeah.
culture, right? So like warriors don't leave the warrior culture." And I'm like,
What are you gonna do? Are you gonna sell real estate? Like, what are you gonna do? And so, like, throughout the years, he's been in my ear, like, hey, dude, you need to leave. You're giving
Okay.
me ideas, and I'm making money off my business. You should be using those ideas to make money
Maybe for yourself.
for yourself.
Wow.
But it's a hard transition when you're kind of in that world because I was in the military too, and law enforcement is a paramilitary organization. You get entrenched in that thought process, and then so you have to slowly separate yourself and prepare to be an entrepreneur. And it's a big jump from being a soldier, being a warrior, to being a business person. So
Right. So are you actually retiring from law enforcement, or are you just like, I'm done? Did you put in enough years where you could actually retire with it?
yes, I'm a retired, but I don't get my pension for another like 4 or 5 years.
Okay,
So
that's great
yeah,
though.
so I'm leaving early. That is basically what I will be doing, is saying, hey, I'm gonna go for this because I feel like the time now. I think if I wait a little bit too long, I may run out of energy and enthusiasm to do it. So sometimes you gotta read the writing on the wall and make your jump.
True, true, true. Can I just ask you a quick question about law enforcement?
Yeah.
What was your experience as an African American in law enforcement here in Southern California? Did you have a good experience? I know it's a stressful job. I know there's a lot that goes into it, but did you have an actual good experience aside from the stress?
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty good. I can say it was pretty good. There are challenges that come with the job from being a black person in law enforcement because sometimes our community don't always have the best relationship with law enforcement. So sometimes, as soon as you pull up, it's either going to be good or bad. They're going to be, okay, your brother's here. And then I'm actually
feel
from Chicago.
safe.
Yeah, I'm from Chicago. I'm from the urban environment, so I can speak to people in certain ways that my partner couldn't. So in that aspect, it would help me. In certain aspects, it would hurt me because they would automatically look at me and say, Uncle Tom, you're a sellout. We heard the lines
Yeah.
in rap songs,
Right.
black police showing out for the white cop. So
Right.
you would get that too, and it would be hurtful.
Yeah.
But it did help me with the community. I did a lot of community work with where I work, and I have a lot of connections. So, but also too, there's a flip side. There's the administrative part. It's like with getting promoted, getting special assignments. Yeah, you weren't always preferred, especially in this county. In LA County, it may be a little bit different, but sometimes it is a little bit more
Challenging. out
challenging
here.
to. You have to do like almost twice and 10 times as much as sometimes your other partners, too, because you got a lot of older people from a different generation that are in power, and they see me pull up and I'm wearing Jordans, and they're most likely gonna pick the other guy. And I've experienced that, and a couple of my other partners have experienced that in the job where they didn't advance as far or as quickly as their peers, even though we were as educated or more experienced and didn't have blemishes on our record, and we still didn't, climb through
Yeah.
the ranks.
Same story. Like, we got to work 10 to 20 to 30, 40, 50 times as hard to just get sometimes what our counterparts get. So let's flip into real estate. What perceptions, what things did you have built up in your head about real estate that maybe weren't reality once you actually started really getting into it, like before and even now again?
That it was easy, right? But my friend was in it, so he would tell me the kind of the underbelly of it. So like once you start hearing, oh, I had this deal or this listing, or he would take us to go buy a house, and the agent wouldn't even respond. Like, we have a qualified offer. Like, I'm going to buy your house. And they wouldn't even respond because they were trying to keep it to themselves. So you start finding these little nuances that aren't so pretty, and not everyone's honest. You know,
Right.
I remember one time I was trying to help this guy that was an investor, and I found him a property. And then he just went ghost on me. Because I found him a property. I didn't have an agreement, so he just bought it himself. So you start finding out different things like, oh, that was kind of shady.
Find out how slick people are.
Yeah, how slick people are.
Yeah.
Then you gotta adapt and adjust.
Yeah. It's yeah, you find out a lot about people sometimes. Like I was speaking about it in my last podcast about going to people's doors, and we have an appointment to see this property, and people look out of their peephole, they look out of the window on the side panel of the door, and when they see who's standing there, they won't even open, and you can see the people and they will not open the door. Or I've had them open the door and they say, you didn't have an appointment. And when you're showing them the text message, like, no, this is like the confirmed appointment from your agent. I've had them literally call their agent. Did you verify these people's pre-approval? Are you sure they can afford this house?
Wow.
So,
Wow.
yeah, there's some misconceptions that people think like, oh, nobody's acting like that. People are still acting like that, and we're in Southern California seeing this.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I've had an agent say, sent your offer to get signed by the seller, turn around the next morning. He said he wants a different kind of family for this house.
Wow.
And of course, they won't put that in writing. They're telling it to you. So now it's he say, she say.
Yeah. Yeah. I've run into that trying to purchase houses, you know,
Yeah.
with my family, you know, and yeah, you kind of get that. You like, why aren't people accepting the offers? I have a pretty good offer. You know, we have pretty good credit. We have money in the bank. We have good jobs. Like, why aren't you accepting the offer?
Right.
Why are these, you know, why are we missing out on houses? And you kind of think that in the back of your head.
It's like, you don't want to go there.
Yeah. You're just like, I don't.
But then eventually you're just like, this is what it is.
This is the 15th offer. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, it's happened.
Yeah.
Okay, another question. How does your community of friends, family, and just associates support you? Like, did you get support? Did you get advice? Like, how has that been?
My family is very supportive because they understand the transition from the career path that I'm making, so they're ecstatic. You know, I was in the military. I joined the military at 19, and I'm 44 now, right? So I've been in this world for like 25 years.
Yeah.
And I've done 2 tours in Iraq, right? I've been on SWAT team. So they're like, hey, can you do something else that's like a little more chill? So my family loves it. They love the idea. My kids love it. You know, they tired of me working nights and doing crazy stuff. Some of my friends, they support it. And some people are right now, they're kind of sitting on the sidelines seeing what's going to happen. You know?
Okay.
And I don't know if they're hating or happy, but, you know, it's like, he's leaving. He's going to go do something else. Like, is he going to succeed? Is he going to fail? You know, I think I get a lot of that feeling.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, what's going to happen? You know, what's
And
the
that's
next step?
normal.
Yeah.
I got that coming into real estate, coming out of banking, because so many of my friends and previous colleagues stayed in banking. And the thing that pulled me out of it was I got tired of getting laid off every few years. It was like every 5-6 years, here we go. The market's changed again. It's time to do a big layoff. And I just got tired of that. And I was like, I was selling real estate for the bank. So for me, I was like, let me try my hand at it and see if I could do it myself. And yeah, there's a lot of naysayers. There's a lot of people who just watch and see. And now some of those same people are just like, God, like, you like are doing so good. Some of them are just like, you have some who are like, I knew you would do it.
Yeah.
And then you have some who are just like, wow, I like couldn't have imagined you do so good.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just part of the process of being a business owner, I think.
Yeah.
Coming from police work, do you feel like coming into real estate, you're going to face some of the same challenges that you face as an African American in police work as you will in real estate?
Yeah, I think I definitely think that I will. Like you said, you've knocked on doors and people wouldn't answer it. Like I understand. Like I'm a 6'1" bald head black dude, right, with muscles. Right now, everybody's going to want to deal with me. Hopefully, that's what I'm bringing my wife on. So you know, she's a lot prettier than me. You know, but like I understand like that aspect. Some people may not want to work with me. My take on that, and it's always been like this. If you don't want to work with me, I don't want to work with you.
Absolutely.
If you have those preservations, then, you know, we're good.
Absolutely.
You know, that's the good thing about this business, about being an entrepreneur, is that I can choose not to work with you. You can choose not to work with me. In my line of where I'm coming from, I had to work with
Have
people
to work with people.
that I would not want to deal with, that I would not want to look with because I had to, because I was a public servant. So I'm like, I would not deal with you unless it was this job, but I have to deal with you in these circumstances. And I think that's one of the beauties of it.
Yeah.
If you don't want to work with me, fine. You know?
That I remember an agent telling me early on, it's going to be so freeing when you can fire a client. I was like, fire a client? Why would I fire a client? And I was like, I need money. And she was like, just trust me. And, you know, Kanisa and I was talking last time just about having the ability to work with people who want to work with you. I only want to work with, like you said, who wants to work with me. And sometimes the people who want to work with you, you may not even want to work with either. So to have that freedom is so rewarding.
Yes.
Of course, being professionals, and I know coming from a professional background, same thing as me, you're going to work with more people than you're probably not. People are really going to have to go there for you to be like, I can't do this. But for the most part, like just having the freedom of choosing that is so freeing, being an African American in this business. I think the struggle sometimes for us has been, and you tell me if you've experienced this, like getting and breaking into certain marketplaces because certain people are only used to seeing certain people in certain marketplaces. You know, you have the luxury marketplace. You have I would call kind of like the semi-luxury marketplace where it's dominated a lot of times because real estate has way more women who have a real estate license, but more men are dominating it and being in the leadership position. And so you think like, okay, how am I going to get into selling these homes? How am I going to get to a higher price point? Who's going to help me get there? Or do I need somebody's help? You need clients who basically you network with who have that kind of money sometimes. So have you, or do you feel like that's going to be a challenge for you?
Yeah, I think right now for me, I think everything is a challenge, right? So, yeah, I think it will, but challenges are like, to me, I don't know. I think the one good thing about having the background with the military stuff is that a challenge to me is just like, I look at everything like a math problem. Okay, how do I figure it out? Some people are going to work with me, some people not, but I'll put myself in those places, in those spaces, because also too, coming from the background where I come from, like poverty and like gangs and stuff, I've always had to put myself in uncomfortable positions. Yeah. Because if I didn't, I would stay where I was at. So even to be middle class at this point was a challenge to get to. So I just look at it as another challenge, you know.
Absolutely, I agree. When you look at the structure and the discipline and all the things you had to have to be in law enforcement, coming into the real estate world, sometimes you have to have a structure and a discipline because sometimes you got to deliver not so nice news. Sometimes you have to deal with things within a transaction that just are hard to deal with. It can be stressful. What do you bring with you that will help you do that? I know you have military and you have law enforcement, so I know it's like highly disciplined.
Yeah. From the discipline aspect, I think being structured, like having to like if I want to sell so many houses, like I'll just break it down. I need to contact these many people a day, this many people a week, this many people a month, and I need to convert this to that. It's all a math problem. But as far as dealing with people, you have to deal with so many people, especially in law enforcement. Like, I mean, like I don't know if I worked in the city of Redlands, right? So it's like one side of the town is like super rich, another side of the town is super poor, right? So you have to deal with both people. And I was in community policing, like, so I learned how to deal with clergy, business owners, putting on events. So you have to almost be a chameleon. One person I have to talk to softly, some person I have to talk to harshly. And you are just able to flow between these different people in society, different socioeconomical levels. And so I think that aspect, that's given me like a big jump, because I just know I can walk in a room. I can speak in front of a group of people. You know, if a person is combative, I know how to simmer them down. And if they need to get a little bit more action, I know what to say to give them a little bit more action. I think that's something that we have. And also we're not scared to contact people. I contact people, like hundreds of people a day, every single day. And it's not like a nice setting. It's usually like domestic violence, that car rolled over, whatever. So you're able to contact people in different aspects where maybe their car got broken into. They may not be upset, but they're upset their wallet was stolen. Or you talk to a group of kids because the teacher said, hey, you talk to these kids about drugs and you're in a room full of 7-year-olds. So I think just being able to just shift through different socioeconomic groups, like within the course of a day, is like very natural for me to do, which is something that I will bring to real estate, as well as the structure and the discipline.
In the world of real estate, they love calling it like a DISC assessment. Did you do a DISC assessment? Are you more of a dominant personality? Are you more of a thinker? Are you more of this? Are you more of that? So it's pretty much the same thing. Like you're like, I have to read the room and then learn how to communicate. And real estate is so similar. Like you get a client sometimes and you're like, this client is hyper sensitive, wanting so much information. So you're like, okay, I know how I'm going to have to deal with them, versus this one who just completely trusts you. And they're like, just do what you got to do to get my house sold, or just do what you can do to find me the house that's in this price range. So, you're going to, of course, have those experiences. In the world of real estate and in the world of law, just in life, everybody has to have a level of fulfillment somewhere. I'm sure in law enforcement, connecting somebody back who had a lost child, being able to, help save somebody's life, being able to give somebody some good news instead of bad news, I'm sure was always more fulfilling than the opposite. In real estate, of course, the best news is calling and telling somebody you're clear to close and you can sign your docs and meet me to get my keys. Within this business, have you found any fulfillment yet with mentorship, with looking to others who are in the business and seeing what they've accomplished and seeing, okay, I'm fulfilled in knowing that if they could do it, I can do it? Or what brings you, or what do you think will bring you that true fulfillment in this business?
From my perspective, like teaching like the Black community, and also like in my job, I teach my younger officers about like the benefits of home ownership. Like I was telling one of my friends that buying a duplex is the same as buying a single family house. And I was like, you should just live in one side and rent out the other. And then you can go buy your second house and now you have a rental property.
Right.
And he was just looking at me like I told him some groundbreaking
news.
Yeah. And I was just like, yeah, you can do this, dude. If I were you, I would do this. You're single, you have a wife and kids. I would just do this. And now you have a rental property for life. You probably retire, a millionaire if you put your money aside. So just teaching people the benefits of real estate, how you can benefit from real estate, seeing people happy that they bought a house. I remember when I bought my first house, how happy I was, so it may not be connecting that missing child with that mother, but it's a different type of fulfillment, right? Yeah. So I've done that for 20 years, right? Yeah. So it's time for me to pass the baton to someone else. So this is a different type of fulfillment, like teaching people about home ownership, finances, getting their credit right so they can buy a house, saving, how to be disciplined enough to save money for a down payment. That's a different type of fulfillment. And I know that's going to be a part of the process.
Like for me, I can say it's been so fulfilling being almost like an educator to the community, jumping on social media and just talking about the process of buying a home. Like you said, talking about credit, talking to people just about what they can do and why home ownership is so important, especially amongst our community. Like in the Black community, our home ownership numbers are like less than 50%. Exactly. We're like around 46% of homeowners as far as African Americans. That's just within the whole United States. When you look at our white counterparts, they're all the way at 76%. You look at our brown counterparts, Hispanic people, Latino people, they're a little over 47%. So to be able to help somebody, like you said, see the bigger picture and you see the light bulb go off, it's like so fulfilling. And of course, it's way fulfilling to give them their keys, especially that person who that light bulb went off on. But it's so much more fulfilling to realize that you have an insight into sharing with these people what home ownership has done for you, what it can do for them, how they can build their real estate portfolio. Like you said, I'm talking to this young guy. You're like, you could retire a millionaire if you do it right. So being that voice in our community, whether you're talking to people who look like us or anybody else, is, I think, very, much fulfilling. I wanted to ask you a question about what you thought about this too, especially being new, getting into real estate. You're new and you're not new because you were here and then you let the license lapse and then you came back. So they said 2024 has been the slowest year in 30 years for real estate. What's your perspective on that?
From being someone that was in and out, I talked to a lot of people, friends, and that don't own homes, and they have the income, and a lot of it is that they say the rates, they say the rates are too high, and I have some friends that actually bought a house. They didn't buy it through me. I didn't have, my license was lapsed at that point. But their mortgages are really high, and it scares the other ones. It's like, how much you paying for a mortgage?
Yeah.
And they go, oh my God. And so I think, to me, that's the prices of the houses are high and the rates are high. And so, like, because I have a lot of friends that I'm like, hey, use me to buy a house, and they're like, I'm not ready yet. Maybe in a year, because they worried about the rates and the prices of the homes, and they can't afford it. They don't make enough money, even though they have good jobs.
And the rates have come down, like just, a hair. They've come down like 0.5%, which is like the biggest come down in like several years. But traditionally, the economy has always experienced when the rates go high, home prices fall. They've experienced when the rates are low, house prices increase. And this last few years, the prices have basically continue to climb, not as fast as they did during the unicorn years of COVID, but they're still climbing and the rates are not going down.
Exactly.
And my perspective has been, it's because not only did so many people buy homes during COVID at low interest rates, a lot of people refinanced their homes at such low interest rates. I did too. So you look at, I've refinanced my home, or I bought a home at this low interest rate, and we're talking like 2s and 3%. And then right now it's like all I can get is a 6 something. So I'm gonna be paying double almost what somebody paid in just 2-3 years ago for this same home. So some people just can't stomach it, even though they may have, like you said, the income, even though they may have the resources. They're just like, I'm not paying $5,000 a month.
Yeah. Exactly.
2,500 sounds a whole lot better to me. So, we'll see what happens. The other, aspect of it is you have a huge baby boomer community who has not downsized their properties. And that has always been what baby boomers usually did. Traditionally, you look at stats, you look at all the numbers, it's like, that's what they do. They decide to, okay, let's sell this house.
Get a condo. Let's
sell this house and travel. Let's sell this house and we'll move in with our son or our daughter and help with the grandkids. That's just traditionally been something that baby boomers do. And I mean, coming from a baby boomer, my dad has been like, I'm not selling my house. Like, he's thought about it a few times. He even had me put it on the market once.
Oh, wow.
And then take it back off, because once I start showing him what he could purchase for that, he was like, I'll be paying more for a smaller space. Why would I do that?
Yeah.
So that has, I think, been the Achilles heel of this 2024 real estate market. And we'll see what happens in 2025. I know they keep saying they assume rates are going to continue to come down. I've recently heard that the Fed feels like he brought them down enough, and so he may hold for right now, which, of course,
exactly
frustrates the real estate, professionals.
Yeah.
But in all, actuality, for him, he's like, I don't want to bring them down too quickly and then throw us back into a recession.
Yeah.
Of course, I think part of it has to do with the whole election and trying to see who gonna win and what, how is
politics as usual.
How is the economy going to react to who wins?
Yeah. Exactly.
And so I think that's part of it, unfortunately, too.
I do too.
And we shall see what happens.
Yeah. I think once it does go down, it's going to be crazy.
Oh, it's going to get crazy.
It's going to get crazy. It's going to be crazy. And that's why I'm willing to suffer through this, because I know what's going. I know.
Stack your people, because
yes.
As soon as it goes down to more palatable
4%
amount,
something like that,
people are going to be hitting you up left and right.
Yeah.
You're going to have more people wanting to sell again, so they can, and then you're going to have more buyers for those properties. So, yeah, I definitely think that's going to happen. They were even talking about how, like, it's a small percentage. They were saying like every 1,000 properties, only so many are selling, like in say like a 30-day time frame. So even that has been affected this year. Like
Yeah.
properties just that are listed are not flying off the market. It's because of the rates.
Yeah.
It's because of the rates, the economy, debt is higher than it's been in, like they said, over like 20, 30 years. So there's just a lot that's going on that has, I think, really slowed people down, made people like hit the brakes.
Yeah.
So we'll see what, happens. I like the fact that Kamala Harris has an actual plan if she wins to try and put $25,000 towards home ownership for people. I know everybody doesn't like that plan. Some people think it's like, just giving money away. But for her coming from a middle class background, she's like, I know how
We
important
give
home
money to
ownership
foreign
was.
countries, so we can give money to our citizens.
Absolutely.
That's my take.
Absolutely. And so I love the plan.
Yeah.
I pray that,
Yeah.
if she wins, that it actually can get passed. I know Donald Trump says he has concepts of some plans and he, will discuss it more if he wins. But yeah, we shall see what happens. I mean, I just read something this morning that said if he wins, 95% of American citizens' taxes will increase because of the plans that he has for the economy.
Oh yeah.
So, all of that stuff will stop people from
Yeah.
wanting to purchase a home. All of those things, that have people excited thinking about Kamala's offer, also have people scared thinking about, what would happen in the alternative with the concepts.
I remember when I bought our first house, they were tax credits. I think it was one President Obama had one. And I think Schwarzenegger was still a governor or something, and he had like a state one, and so we got 2 tax credits when we bought our first house. Yeah, it does.
It helps.
Yeah, because I was also that kid. We were dinks, dual income, no kids. And
Yeah.
we both had good jobs, healthcare and law enforcement. We couldn't buy a house until the market went down and they offered these tax credits. Then we bought.
That's
And then people
when
started buying.
that's when we bought our first home. We
Yeah.
bought our first home when the market started to crash. We were, like you said, double income, no kids. We were just like made too much money to,
Yep.
get this and get that. But then because of what had happened, we ended up qualifying for some assistance, some down payment assistance, and was able to purchase our first home.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think it helps some people. Some people just aren't fans of it. I just think it depends on your situation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm all about taking care of American citizens. I mean, we pay enough people.
Yeah.
That's my take. She's going to give us $25,000.
Yeah. When you look at all the money that goes into
Ukraine. And
all these other
Israel.
countries, all these other, the stuff that, is going to Ukraine, going to Israel, money's, going to help migrants who come over,
Exactly.
to this country, helping, all these different things. I think we need to take care of our own
Exactly.
sometimes first
I totally
before
agree with that.
we're just shelling money out everywhere else. If we can send billions of dollars
Yes,
to another country,
exactly.
we can afford to spend millions to help our citizens become homeowners.
Exactly.
So, question, do you feel that the real estate industry has, since you've even become a homeowner, do you feel like it's become more diverse, more inclusive? Do you feel like it is inclusive to the African American person deciding, I want to sell real estate? Do you feel like, I know this is a loaded question, but do you feel like the support is there, whether it be amongst your counterparts or even amongst your African American peers who are in this business? Do you feel like you have that support, and what do you feel that looks like?
Yeah, traditionally, I don't think there's been a lot of African American realtors. I haven't seen a whole bunch. I've seen, you see them, you see a few. Maybe if you're in Atlanta, you'll see a lot more, right?
Yeah.
But not as much. And as far as support, I feel like I have the support at EXP. Like I felt it. Like I only been in like 1-2 places when I had my license. Here more than other places. This is what drawn me to EXP. I had a friend I went to the police academy with that became a realtor part time, and I seen her posting. And I'm like, hey. you know, maybe I need to join there. And I think I went to the first event. I saw you guys, and I said, I'm gonna sit by you because I'm gonna sit by my people because I don't know anybody. Right? So yeah, and since then I've been in contact with you guys and everybody, and it's been great. Anytime I have a question, I get that support here at EXP. So I think EXP especially seems to be more diverse and more open-minded as a brokerage. And so yeah, and I think that's important. And part of what I'm gonna try to do, like I'm really big on obviously real estate, but also finances like stock, cryptocurrencies, investing in real estate. So I plan to try to use my platform and my role in the business is to put that image out, to teach, and try to use my social media to teach our community about investing in real estate, buying real estate, saving your money, investing your money, understanding inflation and how to outpace inflation through investments. And so, yeah, that's kind of what my goal and my mission is.
Okay.
Within the job, also to make money, right? To sell real estate and provide help for clients. But as far as projecting that image, that's kind of what I really want to do.
And I'll be honest, like because I've been in real estate for 10 years. This is the first brokerage that I've been at that I've seen us.
Yes. And
I've seen us actually performing, and I've actually seen us being an open book and helping. My previous brokerages, there, was nothing really wrong until I started to see like, wait, I'm missing something. There's something going on here that I am missing out on, and I want to be a part of it. I want to be a part of the leadership of it. I want to be a part of the support system with it, and I want to also be supported. So it just feels good to see us and to be able to help us. And there was never anything like that where I came from. I mean, there was a lot of gatekeeping, a lot of, we not helping you. Like I don't know how you're getting to be this successful, but we're not going to help you do anything extra. I remember, I don't know that I would say it's like, it was frustrating, but it was also eye-opening. I remember like 2 years in a row, I won like one of the highest awards at that brokerage. And I was the only Black person up there who had won that award. And so another Black person who's now here at EXP with me, who came from my brokerage, mentioned it like to the broker, like, what is it like? Are you going to even mention the fact that this is the only Black woman, like a woman and she's Black, who has done this? And he was just like, I don't get it. Like he even, came to me like, why would, like make me feel comfortable about not mentioning this. Okay. And so he came to me like, I can't believe he like wants me to mention something. Like, what should I even mention? Like, I mean, you're doing good. Like, why does your race have anything to do with this? And it's like, because this is like not something that we see on a normal basis. And so to show people like, look, like we want to lift this person up and the irony of it was this was like during the height of all this, we need to support diversity, equity, and inclusion. Like this brokerage never put out a statement like some of the other brokerages did. So when I came here, it was just so refreshing to see people willing to lift me up, willing to say like, you're like good and you deserve to have a platform. Nobody would have ever encouraged me to do anything like that over there. So it really does mean something to be at a brokerage like EXP and to have not only the support, but to have the community of us. And when we see us, we get excited. You saw me tell Sim when we were at that thing, like, let's take a picture for the Black delegation. Because how many of us are there here? It's a table full. So I definitely think that that's, that means something. It's special to me when I see it. What advice would you give to a young Black professional wanting to get into this business?
To do what I did like this time, the mistake I made the first time I just went with a brokerage, is to find like your tribe. It's to find people that look like you that'll help you. Because I remember the first time we met at the table, I said, "Hey, what would you do if you were a brand new real estate agent?"
Yeah.
And you said, "I would work every open house, and then I
Yeah.
would circle prospect in those neighborhoods." And I was like,
Yeah.
I never forgot that. I wrote it down on my list of things that I have to do when I'm actually doing this full time. And that's advice that people don't like.
That people aren't just openly
They aren't
giving.
just open. Like, it's simple, but I didn't even think about it. I was
Yeah.
like, wow, that's actually pretty good. Just work everyone's open house and then just prospect in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, just simple. But people aren't passing information on. That's simple information. If someone of a young person asks me, that's something I'm going to tell them because you told me. Anything that Will or Decatur tells me and I get any information and knowledge, I'm going to pass it on.
Absolutely.
And so that's the biggest thing. Get with a group of people that are willing to give you knowledge and information and point you in the right direction. Like EXP, they have so much training. Like every day, my phone is blowing up with Leo about these Zooms and this Zoom and this Zoom and this.
It's overwhelming.
It's overwhelming. I'm like, I can't do them all. But like
The fact that they offer it.
It's just all the time. He'll
Yeah.
send it out all month. This is all the training. Okay,
Yeah.
I can make that one. I can make that one. The training and people willing to give you the information, because we're in the information age, right? So everything is on the internet. You can find out anything, but if people can like narrow it down and say, this is what you need. This is what you need to do. I'm gonna walk you through the process.
Yeah.
You be successful. This
This is
the
what's
key.
working right now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the key.
And then you just pay it forward. Like that's what I tell all my mentees when they meet with me, and they're like a group of my mentees this weekend, and I was so touched. They like sent me a gift card because they were just like, "You're so helpful. You answer the phone all the time when we just have like questions that we even think are silly. You'll answer them, like you'll walk us through stuff." And I'm like, because that's what we're supposed to do. And that's what I ask you to do once you get it. Once you start feeling like, I got this, I'm selling real estate, I'm successful at this, pay it forward and do the same thing that I'm doing for you to somebody else, for somebody else. So I definitely think that that is just our job as not only people, but as people in our community to. That's how we are going to always continue to get ahead.
Yes.
So we're about to start wrapping it up. And as I wrap it up, I wanted to ask you your thoughts. So do you think representation matters when it comes to being a realtor to the people?
Yeah, it kind of goes back to, like I said, when I first went to that first event, right? And I ain't know, like, Decatur was like the only person I knew, and he wasn't there. And I was like, where do I go?
Who am I going to talk
Yeah,
to?
who am I going to talk to? And I can talk to anybody. Trust
Yeah.
me. Like I could walk into a group of anyone and talk to them, socioeconomic race. But I'm like, I'm gonna sit with my people.
Right.
So even though like I can talk to anyone, I'm very diverse. I live in a multicultural neighborhood. I'm still feel more comfortable when I was around people that look like me. So yeah, it does matter. And it's not racist. Other races do it.
Everybody does
Everybody
it.
does it. Every ethnic group does it. They kind of stick together, and then we go out in the world and we deal with other people. We're fine with them.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it does matter because also I think with home ownership, like we understand, like we can go to a community and talk to them about owning a home and the importance of owning a home. Like you start looking at wealth disparities in America, and some of it is because of property. Because you own a house, or like I have friends that inherited a house from their grandmother.
Right.
And the house is paid off, and the house
Yeah.
is worth $2 million.
Yep.
They automatically have a $2 million net worth. And we're not doing that in our community.
And we're not doing that in our community.
You know, and so that's why there's a wealth disparity. There you go right there, just by owning property.
Yeah, you look at the fact that they took advantage of homesteads. We didn't get that.
No.
Because when they were doing homesteading, like black people were still trying to get 40 acres and a mule. You look at the fact that, like you said, they've been property owners for hundreds of years.
Yes.
And when you look at when black people really started to bridge into and start becoming homeowners, wasn't until like the 60s, 70s. And at that point, they were being redlined. So they were being put in neighborhoods that weren't going to be as equitable as our counterparts' neighborhoods. They were, I remember one of my aunts telling me, she says, I remember when we bought our first home, we wanted to buy like, say in Linwood, and the realtor was like, oh no, you guys can't buy over there. Let me take you over here. And she was like, and it was like, you're forced to buy what they are showing you.
Yeah.
Now the beauty of having, like you said, all the information at your fingertips, you have a more informed client sometimes, but it also helps us be able to say, yeah, you belong in any neighborhood you could afford to be in. So I love that. And, you know, when we talk about representation, it's like only 6% of real estate agents are black.
Yeah, that's
as
crazy.
to where over 70% are white. And so it's a huge, huge, huge disparity. When I see, and I'm not going to say it like bothers me, but sometimes it does. When I see some of our people and they have a realtor that don't look like us, sometimes I'm like, what happened? You couldn't find us? You know, but
Yeah.
sometimes there's not a lot of us in
It's not,
certain
yeah.
areas. So they go with who they sometimes feel they can trust. When I think about my first real estate agent, they didn't look like me.
Yeah.
The agent that sold me my first home was a white man, and he was a nice man, but at that time I didn't know any other agents, and my family didn't know any that looked like us that they trusted to say, go work with them. They can help you guys buy your first house. I would have loved for them to get that commission versus somebody who I already know is privileged in this world and didn't need that commission as much as probably one of us needed it. I won't say he didn't, but
Yeah.
that's the perception.
Yeah.
So, yeah, what are your thoughts on that though? Only 6%
That's
of real
crazy.
estate agents being black.
I didn't even think about that, but I'm even thinking now that I might be the only licensed agent. I have a pretty big family in my entire
your family, yeah.
Yeah, and they're mostly in Chicago, but I'm like, I might be the only one.
I'm the only licensed agent in my
Think I'm the
family.
only one. It's like 1,000 of us too, so it's not even
Yeah.
like it's a small. And that's pretty crazy. Like I can't think of one, like an aunt or something. Like, but you should. Like in other communities, you have that somebody's aunt or uncle was in
Yeah.
real estate, and that's who you go to when you want to buy a house or want to buy a vacation rental, you know, or whatever. And we don't. Yeah, we don't have that. We need.
I'm absolutely the go-to for my family, which
Yeah.
I'm thankful that most of them, not all, but most of them will come to me and seek me out for their real estate needs. Sometimes it's just advice, but I'm thankful to be able to be that for them, opposed to them having to try and seek it out somewhere else and maybe can't trust the information, or the information isn't given to them in a caring way.
Yes. Yes.
Because sometimes you just need somebody who cares and gives a crap about you to be like, okay, this is what you should do. These are the moves you should make. I have like an aunt, and she's lives up the hill. She's been wanting to come from the Victorville area for years because she wants to be closer to her kids. But financially, it's just not as feasible for her
Yeah.
as, because she's retired, she's on a fixed income, and yes, she has an equitable property, but she's also in a position to where it's like, I don't have no mortgage, I don't have, so, you know, what can I buy for this amount of money down the hill? And then when I show her,
Yeah.
it's like, this needs too much work,
Yeah.
this needs,
Price
so
jump.
the fact that I care enough to say, like, stay where you're at right now, let's keep looking, let's keep figuring it out, means something to her.
Yes.
Versus somebody who's just hungry to make money, who's like, let me
Exactly.
put your house on the market tomorrow,
Exactly.
and then put you in something that's a money pit, and you're 77, 78 years old, and you don't have the energy or the resources to fix that property.
Exactly.
So you really have to be somebody who cares about your family, your friends, and they know they can trust you.
Yes.
So I love that about the representation part of it, and making sure that we're here for our
Yeah.
families.
Actually caring, not just a deal.
Yeah. Because it's not always about money, even though we need to pay our bills.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah.
The money will come if you do.
I was gonna say, if you treat people right and you're honest and you have integrity, I think that comes. I
Absolutely.
think it comes.
All the time. All right. So in closing, I just want to thank you so much, Roy, for being a part of this with me today. Thank you for giving me your insights. Thank you for being open and honest, and just for sharing with us not only your previous line of work, even though it's kind of still your line of work, but it's almost your previous line of work. I'm thankful that you shared that with us, that you were honest about it, and just thank you for being willing to share and talk about like your experience, not only as a realtor, but as a homeowner, as a law enforcement, and a law enforcement professional, and just, you know, being in this area versus Chicago where you grew up and, you know, started life. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on.
You're welcome. So guys, thank you for joining me today on Black Voices in Real Estate. Look out for the next segment. Episode 3 should be coming out pretty soon. We are working right now on our next guest.